look what we got here. We have a Husqvarna backpack blower. My friend Alan, who's my shooting buddy, dropped it off. He says it doesn't run right. Wants me to check it out for him.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's Henry at Mowers and Blowers. Welcome to another episode. So recently, my shooting buddy, Alan, brought over his Husqvarna backpack leaf blower. He says, it doesn't really work right. Starts and then stalls, starts and then stalls. Can you take a look at it for me? As you guys know from my channel, I only fix my own shit. I don't fix other people's shit. I don't do service for anybody. But I do fix it for friends. I take a look at stuff for the neighbor's brother, you know, whatever. If they need my help, I'll be happy to help them, but I tell them, I'm just a guy in the garage. I don't have any warranties. If I fuck it up, it's not my fault. You asked me to look at it, and I looked at it. Anyway, I hate two strokes. But it'll be interesting to work on this today. So I'm going to try to start it, see what happens. It's got gas in it.
This is a 150Bt. Very popular, widely sold backpack blower from Husqvarna. I'm not sure about how old it is, but I'd say 10 years, something like that. It's got the trigger with the kill switch on it, flexible angled pipe, shoot, pull start, 2-stroke, choke run, blah blah blah. Let's prime it.
And you got to start off by trying to figure out what's wrong with it, right? So down is closed, up is open. On different backpack blowers, it varies. Like for instance, Red Max, it's down for choke, up for run. There's some other brands that it's up for choke, down for run. So you got to read the label. So this is choke. Let me feel for the primer bulb. I feel it. Feels pretty good. Feels like it is sucking fuel into the bulb. I'll prime it like 8 times. You make sure that the trigger is not a spring-loaded kind. It is a spring-loaded kind, so you want to kind of give it a little bit of throttle. It has a stopper too, so it holds it in place a little. I want to give it a little bit. It's primed. The fuel lines feel good too, not brittle. And they're all there. And I don't see a lot of bubbles, which is good. Kind of hard to pull. Some people just put regular gas in it, so I'm going to make sure it's, you know what? It looks like it's regular gas. I don't see any mix in it. Yep. Feels like it's regular gas. That's not good. Could have burned out his bore. It was just regular gas and not mix. These are 50-to-1 mix. So I just texted my friend. As you can see from the cap here, what does it say? It says oil plus gas. Means that it's a mix. It's a 2-stroke. And look in it. That's regular gas, fellas. Old, but regular gas. I mean, we could pull it, which means that it's not seized. However, the bore could be scored from not having lubrication while it's running. So I'm just going to pour a little bit of 2-stroke oil in there to mix it and then give it some more pulls. got this leftover stuff that's been sitting on its side. It's got a little bit left in it. I'll pour this in. It's gonna need more than this though. Looky here. I got some brand new Husqvarna brand. I'm sure Husqvarna doesn't make two-stroke oil. I'm sure it's just the bottle. Could you make it any harder to open this? Jesus Christ. Alright. I usually just eyeball it like that. So that it mixes into like the hue, the blue hue of the sky. That's how I've always done it. Never had a problem. I'm not gonna take out a measuring thing or whatever. Anyway, so now we got a little mix, right? I'm gonna cycle it through by priming it like 100 times. Remember, two strokes, they have a return line. So when you're priming, you're not flooding anything really because it comes back out. What it doesn't stay in the reservoir gets shot back into the gas tank again, therefore just coating the carburetor with two-stroke oil and gas. And that's probably why it was hard to pull. It's because the bore is not lubricated with any oil. So you could score the bore, mess up the compression. You may not have any compression, or the rings, they're scraping against there with no lubrication. Very bad. Very, very bad. But it's not seized up yet, so maybe we'll have a little bit of luck and still not the easiest to pull, but do it a lot. There's no signs of it starting. I don't know if you guys realized, but I've been pulling this and pulling it, and I could not get any spark. So the spark tester, put my finger on it while I was pulling, did not get jolted, and then I decided that because I suspected that the bore could be scored from it being run without oil in it, I put some couple of drips of two-stroke oil down into the spark plug hole. Disconnected the magneto kill wire. There's two wires here, a red one and a black one. I disconnected the black one. The black one usually goes to the ignition coil or the magneto and connects it to the trigger switch over here. And so that disconnects any kill, which means that if the magneto's good, it should just run and get spark, but you wouldn't be able to stop it. That's the black wire. So I disconnected that, put two-stroke oil in there, started pulling, and it turned over. It went brrr, like that. Although not very strong, just brrr, like that. And then trying it again, no dice. So I have a feeling the bore is scored and it's not getting any good compression unless you put two-stroke oil, just a dab. So I just did it again, and I'm gonna try it again. And I connected the kill switch now, so maybe it wasn't the kill switch, but I'm gonna try it. See, so it runs with two-stroke oil in it. Will it run again? Giving it a little throttle off choke now, because it's supposed to, right? back onto choke again. Take the throttle off. Prime it a few times. Okay, I'm going to take it off choke now. Oh. So it'll only start and run for that little bit if you pour two-stroke oil into the gas, into the spark plug hole. The minute it ran that, it burns off all that two-stroke oil for that period of time that it runs for. And now again, you have no compression, see? So I have a feeling the piston rings or the bore are damaged from it being run without oil in it. So therefore, it's very common with these two strokes. You have to change the entire bore, piston, and rings. That's like 60 bucks, 50 bucks for the kit, and a shitload of labor time that goes into dismantling the whole thing, taking the engine apart and replacing it. Being that these things are like 130 bucks, 150 bucks, 50 to 75 bucks used, it's not worth anybody's time. Not at all. So I'm going to mess with this a little bit more, but I think it's Dunsky. I think the only way you could probably think about maybe if the rings were compressed inside is if you pour some ATF in there, let it soak overnight. Maybe the rings will pop back out again. Doubtful, but it's possible. Or gas. Or gas. Diesel. If you put diesel in here, probably would help. I don't know. All right, I just did it again. Sure enough, exactly the same thing happened, but this time I reconnected the magneto kill wire back again just to rule out that it was the ignition coil at all. So it's not. It also started up again briefly with the amount of two-stroke oil that I put in there. So I'm pretty sure, 95%, that the piston and rings are probably compressed in the piston, or the bore is scored, not allowing any compression. So I'm pouring a little bit of two-stroke in there. This is my 4th time doing it. It's quite a bit of two-stroke oil that I put in there already, but that basically seals the ring and the bore, just to test, see if you have compression or not. I could use a compression tester, but look at the size of this spark plug. Teeny tiny. It's like 2 inches long, and I don't have that thread for my compression tester. But this is the same thing, pouring two-stroke oil down the spark plug hole so that it seals the piston and the bore to give it the compression. I mean, this will now start for the period of time that it burns off the two-stroke oil. All right, here, watch, here we go. That's it. So it burns off all the two-stroke and won't start again. Put it to run. It kind of wants to, but because of the lack of compression in there, just not enough compression for it to ignite the gas in the chamber. So it's pretty much pooched. This engine is, actually, I'm gonna do this right. This engine is Dunsky! I think this engine's Dunsky. But what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna pour some ATF in here. No, not alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, but your regular automatic transmission fluid, because ATF is like a detergent. In the olden days, when people were ready to give their truck or car an oil change, they would put a quart of ATF mixed in with their 4 or 5 quart engine oil and run it for like 25, 50 miles, something like that.
Then they would go get an oil change, and basically the detergent would clear out all the sludge that's in your engine and let it drain out, make it run cleaner. Also, it's mostly mineral oil in here. And so what it does is it'll definitely give it some compression, but at the same time, maybe loosen up the rings. Of course, I'm now hydrolocking it because now you have no room in the piston for this to go. I'm just pouring some of this in here just in hopes that maybe overnight or something, it'll kind of like free up the rings. Unlikely, but possible. Anything's possible if you try it. But pretty much, look, now you're not going to be able to pull it because it's hydrolocked. There's no space in between the piston and the spark plug now because you filled it with ATF. That's what hydrolocking is. So if you ever have this and you can't pull it anymore, it's either you have left this outside or something and that the ignition coil and the flywheel are rusted shut. That's one reason for it. Another reason would be a connecting rod that's broken and it's now jammed in between there, right? And another reason could be hydrolocked, whether it be gas or oil sitting inside the piston and ring area in the combustion chamber, and you have nowhere to go unless you took the spark plug out and drained it. And that's how you clear a hydrolock, is you take the spark plug out, you pull it, preferably you not standing in the way of the spark plug hole because you'll be completely splattered in the face with all this fluid.
That's what she said.
But we're just gonna soak the piston rings in ATF overnight, 2 days, whatever, and see what happens. I doubt it though. But with these two-strokers, if you run it with regular gas, it has no lubrication whatsoever. There's no oil lubricating the engine. You may as well just light this thing on fire because it's done. It's finished. So I think the engine's pooched. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. If this works again, be sure I'll have another video showing that. But for this episode, this short episode, this Husqvarna 150Bt Husqvarna backpack blower, 2-stroke, was run without oil. God knows how long it was, but it appears that through all the troubleshooting that we've done, the tests we've conducted on spark on the spark plug, ignition kill wire being disconnected to rule out the spark, and also the throttle and everything else, it leads us to the fact that it has no compression due to it not being run with oil in it. Therefore, the rings in the piston are probably compressed, letting air in, therefore no compression. Or the bore is scored from the rings scratching on the bore without any kind of lubrication. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. It's not my friend's backpack blower. I'd probably charge him $25 for troubleshooting. The price of a jug of 2-stroke oil that I used. The time it took for me to do it. The risk of my neck being tweaked from pulling this 100 times, right? You gotta get something for the time that you did. Am I right or am I not right? I didn't do this for absolutely nothing, because apparently this is not my friend Alan's backpack blower. It's Alan's friend. Well, I don't know Alan's friend. I'm only doing it as a favor to Alan. I'll probably ask for a couple rounds of ammunition. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments what you guys think, or if there's anything else you think that I should have tried, or do you agree with me and that the engine is pooched? Thanks a lot for joining me. Remember to subscribe, like, and share, because that way I can keep bringing you small engine content like this. We'll see you guys next time on Mowers and Blowers.
Mowers and blowers.
Mowers and blowers.